Okay, let's dive right into this, because today's explainer is looking at an absolute masterclass of a match, a defining moment that is literally going to be etched into football history. You know, when you get to this late stage of a tournament, every single pass, every tackle, every sprint, it all carries the weight of an entire nation's dreams. And the final scoreline we're looking at here, France 0, Spain 2. That tells a massive, massive story of execution, resilience, and just pure athletic brilliance on the grandest stage of them all. So we're going to unpack exactly how Spain systematically dismantled the French defense and punched their ticket to the final.
To truly understand the magnitude of this result, we really have to look at the sheer pedigree of these two squads. On one side, you've got Spain, rolling into this tournament as the reigning champions of their continent, bringing that terrifying reputation for relentless possession and tactical superiority. And standing in their way, France, the most recent world champions. A squad literally dripping with proven world-class talent and the experience of knowing exactly how to win on this global stage. This wasn't just a game, guys. This was a heavyweight title fight. It's exactly the kind of clash football fans dream about for 4 years, and it sets the absolute perfect stage for the drama that was about to unfold.
Now, the opening moments of any semifinal are usually pretty cautious, right? Teams are feeling each other out, totally terrified of making that one fatal mistake. But in this match, the narrative shifted rapidly. You could actually feel the tension building, winding up tighter and tighter with every single Spanish progression into the French half. Getting on the scoreboard first in a match of this magnitude, it forces your opponent to completely abandon their defensive comfort zone. And as we'll see, that is exactly the strategic advantage Spain was hunting for.
And boom, here is where the dam breaks. We get this absolutely frantic, chaotic sequence inside the French box, and it leads to a massive, game-changing refereeing decision. An awkward challenge comes in, a player goes over, and instantly, it's a penalty. I mean, you can only imagine the deafening sound in that stadium in that split second. Deciding a penalty in a World Cup semifinal is easily one of the highest pressure moments in all of sports. The momentum shifts entirely. Suddenly, the reigning continental champions are handed this golden, high-stakes opportunity from the penalty spot to completely flip the script on the recent world champions.
So step up, Miguel Oyarzabal. The broadcast commentary absolutely nailed the electricity of this moment, shouting, "Oyarzabal strikes first to Spain." And wow, he doesn't let the crushing pressure of a World Cup semifinal get to him at all. Think about how incredibly difficult it is to keep your composure when literally millions of eyes are watching your every twitch. But Oyarzabal, he steps up and converts with lethal precision to break the deadlock. That single strike sent absolute shockwaves across the pitch and totally altered the tactical landscape for the rest of the game.
So, the crucial point is, taking a 1-0 lead isn't just a goal. It fundamentally changes everything. It's giving Spain a direct, brilliant glimpse of the World Cup final. They are dictating the terms of engagement now. France, they can't just sit back and wait for counterattacking opportunities anymore. They are forced to open up. And Spain, meanwhile, rides the huge confidence boost of that lead, settling right into their rhythmic, devastatingly effective style of play. This one goal is literally the pivot that the entire semifinal turns on. Now, what's really interesting about this is how a lesser team might have just parked the bus, right? Just tried to aggressively defend that 1-0 advantage for the rest of the match. Well, not this Spanish squad. Instead, they unleashed what the commentary so wonderfully called their glittering cohort, leaning heavily into their offensive momentum. They used the confidence from that first goal to fuel a breathtaking display of passing, movement, and attacking flair that honestly left the French midfield totally chasing shadows.
And this wasn't just a one-man show either. It was a suffocating, overwhelming team effort. You've got Lamine Yamal and Dani Olmo moving with just absolute freedom out there, while Fabian Ruiz is finding these critical little pockets of space, and Pedro Porro is constantly pushing up. When you have this many highly technical players firing on all cylinders, combining and rotating seamlessly, it turns into an absolute geometric nightmare for any defense trying to contain them.
Honestly, it wasn't just effective, it was pure art. The commentary noted that was beautiful football, and they hit the nail right on the head. The way Ruiz steers the ball wide, the way Porro integrates into those high-pressing attacks, how they constantly find Yamal high and wide, it was a complete masterclass in spatial awareness and passing geometry. They were passing with such fluid confidence and rapid precision, you kind of couldn't help but marvel at it. It's one thing to win, but to win while putting on a clinic of beautiful football, that's something else entirely.
But we can't forget the human element here, the raw, unfiltered passion driving these athletes. The source highlights this incredibly observant line. Look at those wild eyes. And you could really see it. You could see it on the faces of the Spanish players. It was happening for them, and they knew it. That burning desire, the pure adrenaline of realizing you're systematically dismantling a world champion squad, it translates into this palpable, wide-eyed intensity. That right there is the look of a team perfectly synchronized and playing with an almost terrifying level of belief.
Okay, let's move to onset and see how this builds, because France is way too talented to just roll over. When you're down against a team playing beautifully, what do? You turn to your superstars. And for France, of course, that means Kylian Mbappé. The narrative shifts super sharply here into a desperate, aggressive pushback. It sets up this titanic clash between France's unstoppable attacking force and the immovable object that the Spanish defense was very quickly proving to be. This specific matchup completely defined the second half. You've got Kylian Mbappé, famous for his explosive pace, driving with just pure, terrifying strength toward the goal, absolutely demanding an answer from the Spanish backline. But standing in his way, Spanish goalkeeper Unai Simon. When Mbappé drives hard and tests that near post, it demands absolute perfection from the keeper. And Simon, he covers his near post with exceptional awareness, reading the game beautifully to deny one of the most lethal finishers in the history of the sport. Just a stunning individual duel inside this massive team game.
France was throwing literally everything they had at finding an equalizer. We saw Swift sifting 4 passes aimed right at unleashing Mbappé, who even forces a crucial corner after a deflection off Cucurella. But you know what? Every single time France knocks, Spain answers, proving their defense is just as elite as their attack. Unai Simon is making incredibly good reads to neutralize the danger. And it's not just him, it's the whole squad. Whenever the ball pops out, the Spanish defense is instantly tracking back, getting bodies behind the ball and stifling the French resistance at every single turn. An absolute defensive masterclass to match their offensive beauty.
So, all of this, the early penalty, the breathtaking passing, that wild-eyed passion, and the rock-solid defense against the world's best attackers, it all culminates right here in this final resolution, a spectacular overall display by Spain. With players like the electric Nico Williams adding even more depth and dynamism to the squad, they just closed out the game with total authority. They didn't just scrape past France. They put on a complete 360-degree footballing performance to rightfully earn their ticket to the ultimate stage.
I really want to highlight this specific, almost poetic line of commentary from our source material. The world is opening up for this glittering Spanish cohort. I mean, wow, it just perfectly encapsulates the magnitude of what we've been analyzing. A 2-0 victory against a team with the pedigree of France, that is a massive statement of intent. This generation of Spanish players, this glittering cohort, has navigated the immense pressure, executed a flawless game plan, and now the absolute pinnacle of global football, the World Cup final, is sitting right there waiting for them. And that brings our explainer to a close today. We've seen the tactical shifts, the emotional highs, and the sheer skill that dictated this 2-0 Spanish victory. But I want to leave you with this thought. After dismantling the most recent world champions with such a spectacular, complete display of beautiful offense and unbreakable defense, is Spain now the undeniable favorite to lift the trophy? Think about how they controlled this game and ask yourself, who could possibly stop this glittering cohort now? Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and definitely keep that question in mind as we look toward the final.